Good morning from New York. Today, this morning, I will be addressing healing your mind and communications. It's about feeling your life, primal therapy, and inner mind communication. Well, the brand of inner mind communication that is discussed on this channel, when it's discussed, is I call echo love, to kind of distinguish it. And it consists of 5 more meditative practices and 5 more role play skills, practices. These are skills that you can learn, and there are pathways also into your feelings. The problem with, if you're going to talk about healing, you have to talk about the problem. And the problem is that's nuts. The problem with the tassel at the back of this hat. Oh, here we go. Can you hear that inner city noise? Yeah. The joys of poverty. And here in my luxurious studio here, I'm presenting something that probably should be worth thousands of dollars, and just giving it away, just giving it away free. And that's good. It's good to give, and greed is not good. So anyhow, if people are going to train you, you need to pay them for this. This is good stuff. Okay. It's I had a give you a little history. I had a primal therapist when I was young. Genovian, definitely. She was the editor of the first book by Arthur Janoff. She was a chain smoker and wasn't accepted as a therapist because she still had this sign of neurosis. Their way to your feelings. You see, let's talk about the problem now. Go to that. The problem with damaged faith and love, which are various forms of trauma, is all about helplessness. You're in a helpless situation. It's not that the bad things happen to you. You need the good and the bad to have a meaningful life, to have the drama that you have. But when the drama has you, that's when helplessness is so intense in a situation that your brain has to jump in and comfort you by symbolizing the need after the effect. The thing happened, And you could not live in that feeling of helplessness. And so when that helplessness kicks in, and it's the anxiety from it is so high that it's life-saving to change the original needs into something symbolic. Then the spiritual side, let's think about what Jesus had to say. Maybe I'm not going to brag on him as the greatest mystic of all. It's up to you. This practice is about experiencing. It's not about some organized religious banter or presentation. It's a spiritual approach, which, Primal got close because it dealt with human need and with this problem, which gets in the way of spirituality. It's a big factor in why people aren't more spiritual. A big factor. So the damaged faith and love affects us. The brain jumps in and creates something that calms us down, so that we don't have an anxiety level that's out the roof, or an intensity of deprivation that just throws you into unbearable depression. So it gives you something to achieve. Then I call it hope dope. But it's medicine at the time that you need it. And it's not anybody's fault, really. Even though it gives birth to, you're being in constant effects of a kind of anxiety pain that's below the threshold of awareness, but still pushing, making you kind of selfish. And if you're seeking after symbolic need instead of real need, then there's no point of satiation, so it makes you a little greedy. The love of money is the root of all evil, as Jesus put it. I know I'm going a little back and forth. That's what happens when you're not a trained speaker. So appreciate those people who can be more concise and integrated in what they present to you. Neil deGrasse Tyson and all these great minds. But right now, I'm all you've got. Yeah, if you keep watching. But I encourage you to keep watching, because it's pretty awesome once you understand it. It's something that's mind-blowing, almost literally. But yeah, and that presents a problem. It's a spiritual problem. Why? Because things that aren't so selfish, right off the top of the chart there, at the top of the list, is empathy. The skills of empathy, various forms of empathy, objective, creative, and compassionate. Well, when you're being very selfish, when hurting people are, you're wrapped up in this terrible need inside you, which is turned into symbolic need, which is not fulfillable, really. It's just you have to keep struggling. You're happy in the struggle, perhaps, but it's not real. And so you're kind of self-centered, and that's not very spiritual. It's not that you're not important, but you need to be part of a love flow, and empathy is part of how that happens. So this kind of pain, which Arthur Jenoff called primal pain, which was largely what he addressed with CPTSD, I think. This is this is this is what I was distracted. I'm sorry. This is a phone. This primal pain that he talks about, this damaged faith and love. It's like I say, a huge problem because it produces a lot of selfishness and greed, and also hurts your health. You know, your overall health. I would rank the importance of these skills and this ability to be in touch with your real feelings right up there with exercise and a proper diet. And there, of course, there are other things. Nowadays, the air qualities is something we're worried about. But it's pretty high on the list. And ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, damaged faith and love when you were a child. Well, that's complex, or childhood PTSD. That kind of damage is developmental. It's blocking developmental needs, and so that's very crippling and makes you more immature, more reactive emotionally, or underreactive. It can go either way. And so with this, we've got this problem. When you want to cure that, you have to get into a healthy feeling state, a real connection with your real needs, and which involves you're being in a fairly safe situation when you do that. I would say a country run, entirely on greed doesn't provide some of the basic safety that people need in order to best do the things that are good for their own health. I'm just throwing that out. The love of money, this hope dope, is in fact the root of all evil. It's what destroys your faith and love, and which locks you into a kind of selfishness that is not spiritual. If you're going to look for the source of love, the source of ultimate love, you are looking, that's what some call God, someone call them, some don't. They call it, the universe. They may say it's just the brain. I think NDEs kind of show that it's not just the brain. But anyhow, if you're and if you want to meet the real Jesus, you're putting it in Christian language, or the real Buddha, or like the real connection to the source of all love, however you picture that. Well, the path that I'm talking about will help with you, help you with that. And so this damage, to undo it, you have to re-experience. You have to go back and experience those needs in the helplessness, so that you can unlearn the helplessness to feel love, to feel what it is, to express love and to receive love, the love flow. So you're caught up in this deprivation, and that does have an effect on your health, and has a lot to do, according to Arthur Janoff, has a lot to do with how your genes are expressed, so that how your genes are expressed can be thrown off and problematic for your life. Yeah, and that, I believe, is part of why we're looking at so much disease attached, later in life, attached to adverse childhood experiences. But the beauty of what Arthur Janoff presented was that this is possible to undo. Now, his approach, and the approach of my primal therapist, was to put you all alone, a bit of isolation with yourself for, like a period of a week or so. And depending on the person. And this would put you. This will work against the ability of this symbolic struggle to take place. You've fallen into patterns in which your life is an expression of this hope dope, and you even surround yourself with people who are in the same hope dope, that augment your fakeness. You want to find the real you. So people looking at this channel, they're searching for the real self. Well, your real self is connected to your real needs, and your ability to have the skills to both receive and give love, which is the spiritual path, which is the mystic path. Being alone like that kind of works against the symbolic defenses. It kind of breaks them down a little bit, and you're confronted with yourself. And so that's the approach that they use to get you ready for the therapy. And then they, as minded, they try to get you talking and get you into more expressing how you're feeling, and they work from the current situation that you're in, and things that you perceive as more current and later life experience, and then go back, and they say it's going back in the brain to earlier and earlier times, which the earliest is, well, it's he calls it the first line because he's looking at it in terms of tripartite brain, um, which is, I understand, is close a little bit to the situation neurologically. I mean, there's a evolution there. The reptilian brain, and then the mammalian brain, and then the human brain. And yeah, it's not a perfect kind of way to see things completely, I don't think, but it's close. It's you can rely on it to a degree, but in the system that the Echo Mind, um, everything below real skill at language, like pre-language, is we put that together, and I think it works. You know. Well, what she did, she would go in, and like I say, she would interrupt at certain points, and when she sees you're close to feeling something deep, then she would do something to ask a question or gently get you to get in touch with that feeling. Where is that feeling coming from? What do you recall um, in connection with this feeling, and so on. So it's a feeling process, and that's where the two systems are on parallel. And so that's the approach of primal therapy. Um, they when they would go directly against the symbolic defenses, they called that originally the primal bust approach, and they found that wasn't a very good idea. Uh, they used the deep breathing as a major thing, and they found that wasn't a really good idea, not the best uh, path to your feelings that way. Well, and there's a pattern to this whole thing, which you see that I've experienced with Echo Mind and Primal, is you move toward, you move in a healing pattern. You go from getting rid of the symbolic so that the original feelings have a chance to come up and be integrated and felt. Because once upon a time you couldn't feel that. You couldn't, because it brought up too much anxiety. The real needs to feel them, wow, too much anxiety. So, in, like I say, he called it primal pain. The pain that when you feel it, it doesn't hurt. That's because that pain is an anxiety pain, really. Um, but it's, yeah, if you have an overwhelming level, then it's depression. Um, that's my understanding of it. So this development is going from unlearning the helplessness to be able to connect to your feelings, to the original need, and the original circumstances around that need, to get in direct contact with that. Unlearning the helplessness as you do that. And as you unlearn the helplessness to regarding a particular need or whatever, you then are aware of that need as a loss currently. It's something that wasn't met. So then you go through a grieving, there's a grieving process that goes on. And then you get to where you're able to more forgive anybody and anything that contributed to the thing, because you've let go. You've grieved the thing, you've let it go, and then you can feel more forgiving. And as you are more forgiving, and then it's kind of preparatory for feeling the worst thing of all, that was how the hurt in you hurt other people, and that's means, the monster in you, the part of you that did the bad thing. All right, that wasn't loving, that wasn't caring, that harmed other people and yourself. And you feel remorse. That's the later stages. You feel remorse for what you did, and you see it in online. I was just watching a therapy session, Primal, and the lady was going on, touching all of these things in her feelings, and it was about how she wasn't the loving mom to her kids that she wanted to be, and how that harmed them. And wow. So after the remorse, though, there's another step, and that's where you begin to realize that you're no longer the person who did that. And this is part of ego transcendence. This is a part of not being attached to this too rigidly to this sense of self, as if it's an unchanging kind of thing, which it is not. That's an illusion, something that the Buddha brought up. You can, as Jesus said, you can be born again, So the approach taken in inner mind communication allows for you to help yourself more easily, and gives a space for people to train in these skills. Now, the actual therapy of guiding people through this entire session, and playing the role of the inner artist, being a therapist, that's another thing. What I'm presenting is the ways that for healthier people that they can help themselves or be helped with a trainer, someone who can teach them how to develop these skills and help them develop these skills. The three forms of empathy, the using role play, and the three forms of meditation that involve focus and on the feelings, expression of the feelings, and the ability to be at play with those feelings. And these are all skills that help you to actually feel what happened to you. One person I know that initially went into the process, he found humor. He was confronted with the craziness and the humor involved. Well, that was what he experienced. Each individual has their own gateway. They're the skills that they've more developed, that they can develop more and gain more self-confidence and develop other skills until they, become more skilled in each of these practices, and that will produce similar things to primal therapy. If you have a notable disease, then you need to see a professional therapist that deals with ACEs and CPTSD, PTSD. Then there are some things that are somewhat effective. I think the therapists need to have these skills as well. That's my position, because the skilled young lady that young at that time, but she thought of me as a kid then, but that's young to me now. I'm 70. So. She made some mistakes, and some of it was where she would try to jump to the remorse phase, which is a punishing attitude. That's a punishing attitude, and that's anti-spiritual. A punishing attitude is, people here talk about the Antichrist. Well, it's a punishing attitude. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, It's about healing. It's not about punishing. How good is a person who's only good because they're afraid not to be? It's just an act. But when you get in touch with yourself and you have skills of empathy from which your virtues rise, and skills with your ability to focus on, express, and be playful with your feelings, wow. You're good because you want to be. You want to be. You're part of the love flow. You're born that way. The baby, a baby gives a lot to the parents. They speak about the parents giving to the baby, but the baby also returns a lot. And if there's good love flow, then that's a great enrichment to the parents. as well as the child. And wow. But yeah, this, and there's the philosophy of is a meeting ground between Primal and Echo. There's there's a meeting ground there uh, where it's anti-punishment, and yeah. So if you're hearing that inner city noise, then I apologize. It's about the best I can do right now with the equipment I have and my skill sets with this whole thing. Yeah, and there's a bit of politics involved, and it's anti-greed, you know. So in the love flow, that's much more of a democratic system or approach to life. Um, Democracy is so important, you know, because the philosophy that joins these two together is about increasing love flow, and love flow depends on democracy. The, the rights of the individual, the ability to do it your way, which is how therapy should be done, you know. And each person is individual, and they have to approach things in their own way, in their own unique way. And so a lot of what the therapist ends up doing is listening, um, you know, compassionate listening. So, and that's valuable just in itself, you know. So, but the politics, yeah. Well, it's a politics that's based on empathies, forms of empathy, objective, which is the kind of the job in society of government, to set the laws and to make sure that you know, human rights are respected, and that overall the economy of love in the society is at a good point. How to get from here to there? That's about objectivity. Your churches, your uh, extended family organizations are more about compassionate empathy, and that's part of this political viewpoint that I'm talking about. Is you need that too. You need that perspective, and that's you know, very supportive of people and their needs, which is, you know, obviously what you're looking at with primal therapy and with the echo training. It's very similar, uh, these two things in that way. The other part of the essential philosophy is the creativity, the creative perspective, the ability to see things in different perspectives, to get outside of your life and appreciate it, the whole thing, like a movie. And that's not getting away from your feelings. It's just all these things are an ability to get the proper distance from your dramas, and so that you can feel that you're in the feeling zone, so that you can feel and integrate things. You can unlearn the helplessness and mind for the the love that was poured onto you that you couldn't receive because of the greed, the hope dope that was ruling your life. Oh gosh, I wish I was a better speaker for you guys. I really do. Doing the best I can here. I hope that you can understand some of the things I'm talking about. And another, oh my, this is a very long presentation. I'm sorry. I'll try to wrap this up now. We're at 40 minutes. Well, next, I'm going to try to present the overlap of echo mind, inner mind communication, and the experiences, mystic experiences, and the near-death experiences. Okay? Here's my Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand, or her hand, or its hand, however you see the source of all love. And there's a word that they use in India for hello and goodbye and so on, that honors something that the great physicist Carl Sagan mentioned, which was that we are together, the universe knowing itself. That's pretty awesome, huh? So when you look at another person, be full of wonder. They are a marvel. And precious. And we are all one together. And that word is namaste. Make a great day today. You know you can. Namaste.